Good evening, everybody. Hi, I'm so glad to see you all here. It's a great crowd. My name is Ashton Cumberbatch, and I'm Vice President of Advocacy and Government Relations for the Seton Healthcare family. But more to the point, tonight I have the privilege and honor of being the chair of the Greater Austin Black Chamber of Commerce. And we're so glad to have you here at our annual business meeting or membership meeting for 2014. And you honor us with your presence. I think we have a great program for you all tonight. I think you all are already off to a great start. Seemed like there was a lot of networking and communicating and making of new relationships and cementing old relationships that was going on, and we encourage that. I'm just here to give you a welcome. I'm going to be here to thank our sponsors tonight, Capital Metro. Is anyone here from Capital Metro tonight? I know, of course. Oh, I'm sorry. My bad on that. Thank you all so much for your sponsorship. You guys have been great to us throughout the years, and we really appreciate your being here. And then we want to thank our sponsor and host, Jackson Walker Law Firm, and Leonard is here. Leonard Woods is here with us tonight. Leonard is one of the partners here at Jackson Walker. And not only is Leonard a friend of mine, but he's been a great friend to the chamber, and we appreciate Leonard. Leonard's excellent, yes. And I know we really didn't give a good hand to Cap Metro. Can we give a hand to Cap Metro? And I know we have some other special guests in the audience, and Leonard will have an opportunity to acknowledge those special guests when he comes up. We're going to show you a video right now that's going to give you a year in review. And we think it's a great way to capsulize what the chamber has been up to. And for those of you that have been watching, I think we've been up for the last 18 months or so, 2 years, doing some impactful things in our region, in our community. And so we've captured a few of those things that we're going to share with you tonight. And then you're going to hear from our committee chairs, or at least one chair from each one of our committees is going to come up and share with you what they're about, and hopefully pique your interest so that if you're not participating in one of our committees, you will, after you hear from them, decide, you know what, I want to be part of that. They're making an impact in this community. They're doing something to improve and help develop African American and Black businesses in this community and expand businesses overall in this region, and I want to be a part of that. Before I have Leonard come up, the other thing I want to do, we have some board members here in the room. Board members, if you would just stand so folks can see you. Don't be shy. Tricia, Mike, Jane, Ron, Gary. Thank you all very much. We have a great board, and they do some great work, and they help support our dynamic CEO, Natalie, who you all will hear from later on, and she'll talk about her staff later. All right, with that, Leonard, do you mind coming up?
Not at all.
And while you're making your way up, she's going to start the video, and as soon as the video is over, the floor is yours.
evening. As evident by the video, the Black Chamber has done a lot of wonderful things this past year. And let me just say on behalf of Jackson Walker, thank all of you for coming tonight. Jackson Walker has been a supporter of the Black Chamber. I've been a personal supporter of Natalie's from the day she moved into town. So I've known her and should consider her a friend, and she's done wonderful things for the Chamber. The one thing that we can all acknowledge, I think, is that all of you are active participants in the wonderful things that this chamber has done. And, you know, back in the day, let me just back up just for a second and acknowledge Ashton as well. Ashton and I have known each other for a long time. We were good friends. I knew Ashton back when he could still play basketball. So the old, yeah, right, the old before the knees went out. But you know, back in the day, there was a song that I used to like. It was called Wake Up, Everybody. Some of you may remember. It was Teddy Pendergrass, right? Now for you babies, you don't know Teddy Pendergrass. But I know the Chamber has a relationship with Google. You can look that up. But there are lyrics to that song that say, the world won't get no better if we just let it be. The world won't get no better. We got to change it. Yeah, just you and me. And I think that's appropriate for the Chamber. The Chamber has done wonderful things. They have approached the city in such a way, they've energized the city, and the city of Austin has been awakened because of the energy and vitality that the Chamber has brought. So let me just say, on behalf of the Chamber, on behalf of Natalie, on behalf of all the board, I think you ought to all give yourself a hand of some recognition right now. One of the things they asked me to do tonight, and I'll be brief, it's hard for lawyers to be brief, but I'm going to do that, is to recognize our elected officials. So first, let me say, if you are an elected official, would you please stand? Thank you very much. I know that we have some other people that are running for office that were here earlier. Some of them have left, and so we would, of course, want to recognize them as well. But I have the pleasure of introducing two individuals tonight that will speak to you very briefly. First, our Mayor Pro Tem, Cheryl Cole. Let me just say, Cheryl, why don't you stand just for 1 second? Now, I have to tell you, I'm a Baylor grad, a Baylor undergrad, and Baylor Law. But I have such respect for Cheryl that I won't hold her UT pedigree against her. As many of you know, Cheryl's an attorney, she's a CPA, and she was the first elected African-American woman on the city council. So as such, the wonderful thing about Cheryl is she brings the lawyer's critical thinking and the CPA's business acumen to the council. So Cheryl, thank you for that. As soon as I finish, I'll sit down and I'll give you the mic. I also have the opportunity to introduce Council Member Mike Martinez. Mike, if you stand just for a second, please. Now, for those of you that think that you can't fight City Hall, let me just say this. One of the things about Mike's claim to fame, as I understand it from reading some of your bios and information, is Mike's had a disagreement with everyone at City Hall, no matter who they are.
Including the sink.
And the deal is that's a good thing. That's a good thing. So Mike, we want to thank you for your community service. He's been an active member of the community and provided community service to us for over 20 years. Former firefighter, and I think he brings some of that firefighter's mentality to his work with the city. Perhaps more importantly, as I take my seat, let me just say to you that in paraphrasing the work of both of these wonderful individuals, I can tell you that they both stand for the proposition that a city is judged not upon what it's done, but how it provides for the least among us. So because of that, and because of the positions that you've taken to represent the least among us, thank you very much on behalf of all the city of Austin. And with that, Cheryl, I'll sit down and give you the mic.
Thank you, Leonard. I certainly appreciate having the opportunity to say a few words to you today. This is an organization that I have come to just have an incredible amount of respect, especially how it has grown and prospered under Natalie's leadership. I don't want to let that go unsaid because there's so many nonprofits that do not make it or are not able to do the appropriate amount of fundraising or outreach into the community so that when we have a successful nonprofit and where the board is dominated by African Americans and that serves the African American community, we have a lot to truly be proud of. So please give yourselves a round of applause. I appreciate, Leonard, your comments about the record that Mike and I have had on serving the least among us. It is interesting to note that we are having some of the best economic times in history. And at the same time, there are many, many who have unmet critical needs. And we continue to try to figure out ways to shorten that gap. And we have learned that the only way to do that is with the help of the community. As LBJ said, that there's very little that we can do by ourselves, but there's almost nothing that we can't do together. And I believe that is true, and I appreciate all of your support while I've been in office, and I appreciate what you do for the community. Thank you. I would say that my colleague, Mike Martinez, is coming up to speak, and he hasn't had a disagreement with everybody. He's had a disagreement with everyone. I'm just kidding. Here's Mike. Thank you.
You know, somebody once said, if you're agreeing with everybody, you're not standing for anything. But it's true. Obviously, I'm not shy about disagreements, but I think that's what makes our city great, is that sometimes you got to stand for something. Sometimes you have to fight for something, just like you all here at the Greater Austin Black Chamber of Commerce. You got to stand for something sometimes. And you've done it more than sometimes. And so I thank you for your 14-year partnership with Capital Metro. As chairman of Capital Metro, your partnership with us has helped us be a better organization. You help us establish our goals as it relates to DE participation and MBE participation. We can't do that without your efforts. And so I'm here to say thank you for helping us. We are proud to be here this evening to be supportive of your organization. We were proud to support the small business gala last year. We will be here with you and for you moving forward as well. And so, since folks are throwing out some quotes, here's one that I like to throw out. Ann Richards said this. Life is not fair, so government has to be fair. That's our job at City Hall, is leveling that playing field. As Mayor Pro Tem Cole mentioned, we're the most prosperous city in America right now. But there are so many in our community who are not sharing in that prosperity. We had a job fair today at Palmer Event Center where thousands of folks showed up looking for that opportunity, looking for that chance to be a part of Austin's success. You represent that at the Greater Austin Black Chamber. You're also fighting for the folks out there that are looking for that next opportunity for success. So I thank you for all the work that you do in our community. Natalie, with your leadership, I really appreciate you all having us here this evening. And on behalf of Cap Metro, we do have some Cap Metro staff. Aida is here. She's our DE compliance officer. We thank you all so much. Have a great evening.
One of the common experiences some of you may have, I certainly have, is after raising two daughters, headstrong daughters, and being married for several years, I'm used to women chastising me and correcting me when I made a mistake. And certainly when I sat down, Natalie corrected me and asked me to fix a couple of issues that I didn't address. First, I need to recognize specifically a couple of people within the audience. Representative Howard, would you stand please? And also City Councilman Riley in the back. And although he's left, I know we have Darrell Pierce, who I know that is running for office, and so was here earlier. Some of you may have met Darrell. You'll know him by the bow tie. So, in any event, moving to the next section of the program, we'll have the committee introductions, and I'll introduce and ask to come forward now.
So Leonard is right. When I first got here, Leonard was he was a great counsel to me when I first moved to Austin, and it means a lot for our organization to continue to keep having events at his establishments and to just see how large the crowd grows each and every year that we do something. So for that, I really have to thank you all as members, as part of our Austin business community and as community leaders for being here. It really means a lot to us. Also, programs like this are not made possible just by me, although my name is the one that's oftentimes mentioned from the podium. It's really a collection of inputs from our board and from our team. And so Tam Hawkins, where are you, Tam? She might be running around working. She might be running around working. Giovanna McWilliams and Renata Estes Brown, who is our intern, who has played a really pivotal role with the chamber this year and around, oh, Tam is right back there. Tam, you want to wave to everybody? Around forming something that has really created a very unique opportunity for our chamber, which is establishing collegiate chapters on the campus of the University of Texas at Austin and at Houston-Tillotson University. And it really makes us the second Black chamber in the country to have done something of this nature, second to the Michigan Black Chamber of Commerce. And so it's awesome. You know, again, here we are as Austin leading the way, whether it be in tech, whether it be in innovation, or whether it be within our diversity communities around what it means to really be leaders in the field. And so again, I'm really excited about that. But this is less about me speaking and more about you all talking. And so last year what we did after we kind of we founded the chamber, so to say, put the chamber back on very solid foundations. We reestablished our committees, and we created 6 very dynamic committees, the 7th being the collegiate chapter, that include international affairs, government affairs, education, Black Technology Council, and entrepreneurship and small business development. And so what I'd like to do right now is have each and every one of the committee members come to the podium and just talk a little bit about the achievements. And I'll actually be the first person to come to the podium because the first committee is one that I actually chair. So we're looking for someone to co-chair this with me. But it's our special events committee. Oh, and here's our slide too about who the chamber is and what our core value proposition is, which is political capital, business capital, and social capital. So we'll go straight into the committees then. The special events committee, if we get to the next slide. The goal is really to help support the chamber in planning, promotion, and sponsorship identification for our signature programs. And each year we hold our Small Business Awards Gala. This year we were really honored to have Robert Smith, who is one of the wealthiest African Americans in the country. He runs an $8 billion private equity firm. Very unspoken, kind of, under the radar gentleman, but he's here in Austin, and he has been very involved in our chamber since we invited him to be the keynote speaker for our awards. Last year we had Sonia Richards-Ross. We also have Spotlight on Business networking mixers that we've done everywhere from restaurants to chamber member offices. And it's a great way for people to come to your venue and learn more about what it is that you do. We have a wonderful partnership with the Multi-Ethnic Chamber Alliance, which consists of the African American Chamber, the Hispanic Chamber, and the Asian Chamber. And we do a number of different events with them throughout the year. And then lastly, we were very involved in the Alpha Phi Alpha National Conference that came to Austin this past summer that brought almost 10,000 African Americans to the city, and it was a really great way for us to promote what Austin has to do here, and we were part of the video that the city put together on what it means to be Black in Austin. So the Special Events Committee did a lot of different things this year. But next we have the International Affairs Committee, and I will call Ashley Hunter, who is the co-chair. Ashley, are you here? Where are you? There you go.
So I think my voice carries. Do I? Okay, because I'm like from East Texas, so everything carries. I'm actually just recently appointed to the International Affairs Committee. I actually am the co-chair with Steve Wanta, who couldn't be here tonight. I think he's traveling in Africa.
Yes.
So our goal actually is to do international outreach in any African or African diaspora communities. So a couple of accomplishments that we've had this year: the Brazil Trade Mission, which Natalie was very involved in. And then we've had the African Diaspora Fellows that they came actually during South by. We brought them,
From Uganda.
yes, from Uganda. And then we've also hosted the Brazilian delegations, and we are currently in a partnership with YALI, which is at the University of Texas at Austin. And that is bringing young African leaders from East Africa. Am I doing that correctly? Okay. So I'm looking down because I was just recently appointed. So,
You're doing great.
am I? Okay, thanks. So those are our recent accomplishments. And actually, we just had a meeting with the YALI executive director at University of Texas. And we are always looking for members who are actually interested in, you know, if you're not doing business in Africa or any African countries, please come and visit. We're actually also in talks with maybe a property developer in Kenya who would like to do partnerships with us here in Austin as far as businesses are concerned. So let us know. I'm around if you want to get more information. So thank you.
And Ashley is always humble. So Ashley is always humble. If you saw the video, you saw Ashley was in the video. Ashley was featured in the New York Times Magazine for her work internationally. She is part of a consulting company that does micro insurance. And so she's always traveling to the Middle East and to developing countries. And so she never talks about herself, so I always have to talk about her for her. But some of the things that she did mention, we have been to Africa a number of times. We were also the first chamber to go to Brazil, and since then we have established really strategic relationships with them. And right now we're in talks with the city to try to form a friendship agreement with a city in Brazil called Campinas, which we're extremely excited about. We also represented the city of Austin at the International Association of Science and Industrial Parks in Recife. So one of the jokes that we made at the awards program was that Natalie keeps going to Brazil. She must have a husband in Brazil. No, I don't. Just a lot of work there. Just a lot of work there. So the next committee is our Government Affairs Committee. So if we could have AJ and Ashton? Or,
AJ.
okay, just AJ.
Hello, good evening all. My name is AJ Bingham. I'm the legislative director for McWilliams Governmental Affairs Consultants for a statewide lobby firm based in Austin. That's the long version of our committee's goal, but if I had to encapsulate it in one, a few words, it'd be political capital, which Natalie touched on earlier. A lot of that comes down, and these are some of our goals from the previous year up to this point. A lot of what I envision going forward really comes down to member engagement. I want the committee, I want for us to be able to reach out to y'all and know what your businesses do in the community, if it's procurement with the city, the county, or the state, and have a good idea of how we can help you. I mean, we're here to advocate for interests down at the Capitol City Hall and at the County Commissioner's Court. And it's also for us to engage the community. Some of the things we've done this year also include engagement with Project Connect, which is the transportation rail advocacy group. Also Code Next, which is the group that's revising the building codes in the city. So height variances, all the condominiums going up, all the new office towers going up. Moving forward, a big thing we mentioned, acknowledging the candidates and some of the council members in the room, is going to be the general election in November, the 2-1, the mayoral race, and also the 2-1 district races. A big part of that is going to be voter education. We all, it's not going to be citywide anymore, so figuring out where each of our members live, where your businesses are located, and which candidates that are running best represent, the interests of you personally and also what you're trying to do professionally. So we're going to be working to kind of to get those people in and engaged as well. And also, potentially with some of the bond elections that could come up, more with affordability of housing and also with urban rail. Lastly, this is a little further out, but too soon for some of us, is going to be the 84th legislative session. It's going to be in January 2015, and it's going to be interesting because along with the new mayor, potentially the new mayor and council will have, we're going to have statewide leadership from the governor to AG to lieutenant governor are going to be all new folks. The House and the Senate are going to be, they're going to be new folks there as well, and it should stay a little fairly conservative, and so interesting to see how that all plays out. And lastly, our committee's been working to engage with our state association and their legislative task force to get more input from our members about what shaping their agenda. And so that's ongoing, and this meeting's coming with them in the near term.
And again, so AJ was actually our Emerging Leader of the Year at this year's awards program. So again, my job is to toot everyone's horns, so let's give AJ another round of applause. I'll just say just a few things about some of the things that we did accomplish this past year. We did the 2013 Congressional Black Caucus Foundation Annual Legislative Conference delegation trip to Washington, D.C. While we were there, we also hosted the first CBC Black Tech Meetup, which was around African Americans in technology in DC. We had more than 150 people at that event. If you watched the video and you saw a number of people kind of doing interviews at the microphone, that was the event that we did in Washington, DC. We also were very involved and are committed to our engagement with the Texas Association of African American Chambers of Commerce that really lobby and advocate at the state level. And then we were really honored to receive a proclamation recognizing the Chamber and all of our work from Mayor Pro Tem Cheryl Cole recently as well. So those are some of the things that we have accomplished with the Government Affairs Committee. Next, I believe we have Renata with the collegiate chapters. Oh, actually, we have the Education Committee, so sorry, Patricia. It's education related. Patricia Hayes, who is the co-chair for our Education Committee.
All right, good evening, everyone. I'm so glad to be here, as Natalie indicated. I am the co-chair with the Education Committee. Jacqueline Chatham is my co-chair. Those of you who may know Jacqueline, she works with the Lottery Commission, but she has been a long-term parent advocate in AISD for quite some time. Quickly on my background is in education policy and education law and all of that, but it's also just my personal passion. So when we needed some help going forward on setting up the committee, I stepped up to it, and they haven't let me step back. But I enjoy it. Some of the things you'll see there, as Natalie indicated, last spring was first getting the committees back in place and started. And so one of the things we felt strongly about with the Education Committee was making sure that as the chamber, we could present something to the community that would be helpful and beneficial, but not recreate the wheel, that would have the chamber's lens on it at all times. That would be the best way we could utilize our resources, but also provide something significant to the community. And so we started tossing out all kinds of ideas, and one of the ones that came up and stuck was for us to host the first annual State of Black Education in Austin Summit. And on a relatively short time frame, basically from, June or July to October, we pulled it off. And we were very, very excited about that. And we're planning to host it again this year, hopefully around the same time period. But just excited to have that on such a short notice and time frame, to have, I believe it was like over 100 folks to show out for that, and to make sure that we can provide some assistance there. A couple of the other things we did alongside with that was produce the educational report, research, graphic, and one of the things that we talked about was not putting together things and then putting it on a shelf. So making sure that we got something that could be utilized in the community for the chamber related to the education and the issues that we tried to focus on. One of our projects that we're working on is creating this framework for a leadership training and development council. And it came out of discussion with Dr. Kostarfin when we were meeting with Austin ISD and talking about what her needs were for having strong leadership in the district that was diverse, and acknowledging that that was one of the things that was a gap. And so along the lines of, you all are familiar with all the leadership organizations, Leadership Austin, who's been here tonight, but doing that for the African American community and those folks in school districts, but expanding that hopefully to include business folks. So that is something that's still under development, and definitely looking for folks to help flesh that one out. And also facilitating leadership discussion discussions and meetings with AISD and the other school districts around the community, recognizing again, we don't live in a vacuum. It's not just about Austin ISD, but all of the other communities that are around and thousands of kids that are represented. We have liaisons. The staff gets tons and tons of requests to attend all of these meetings, and they would love to, but it's not humanly possible. And so many of them are education related, as well as with the other communities. And so we've started trying to facilitate that through the education committee to farm those things out to folks to say, here's an opportunity for you to represent the chamber at whatever specific committee that's come up. And so we're sharing a lot in that capacity to make sure the chamber is represented, but having a liaison position there. Speaking of Dr. Karstafen, you all know or have heard that she's leaving us and the education committee. I know I personally and Natalie has been very kind with me being bullish on this one thing, but I felt very strongly about the fact that we as a community, as an African American community, needed to recognize her. She was the first Black and female superintendent for Austin ISD. And I felt strongly that we needed to send her off well. And so this coming Thursday, April 29th, from 5:30 to 7:30 at 823 Congress, where my offices are, we will be hosting a farewell reception for her. And you all are definitely invited, and we want to make sure that we send her off well. And if she doesn't remember anything else about Austin, she's going to remember us. I think that's it. Thank you all.
Patricia is also one of our board members for the Greater Austin Black Chamber of Commerce, and she has really taken the education committee and just created it into what it is. And as she mentioned, we do receive a number of different requests to participate in conferences, convenings, meetings, and we would really love to be able to have representation there. So if you have children that are part of the AISD system or the Greater Austin Education School District, please connect with myself, with Patricia, with anyone from the Education Committee. Even if you don't and you care about the future of where the city is going, we really encourage you to think about that. And it's from the K through 12, also community college and the college level. So that actually gives us the perfect segue into our collegiate chapters, which I was super excited to present about. Renata Estes Brown is our intern. She is the founding president of the Greater Austin Black Chamber of Commerce Collegiate Chapter Program. She's a student at the University of Texas at Austin, and she's majoring in economics and Spanish. And without further ado, Renata.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so she already introduced me, but I am the founding president of the collegiate chapter that was started in 2013 in the fall. And I have a few of my peers here, if y'all want to raise your hands, a few of my teammates. We are a small team, but we're also a strong team, and we've been doing a lot. Our mission has been to utilize the talents and efforts of our students to increase membership, business acumen, and involvement within the African American and Greater Austin business community. So in the past year, we've already developed some notable partnerships with a few professionals here. We've also done a few programs with other student organizations at the University of Texas, one of them being a small business career fair called Black to Business. We also had an entrepreneur panel where we had a student entrepreneur and then one of our chamber members who's a salon owner, we had her in attendance as well, just to talk to our students and to continue promoting entrepreneurship and pushing us to, follow whatever our endeavors are, to continue to create jobs and create other opportunities and build back up the East Austin community. So, I don't know, we also had our first annual Black College graduate reception this month, and it was kind of, not too many people in attendance, but it's fine the first time around. We hope to continue to build up momentum as time goes on, especially especially if we establish chapters on St. Ed's campus, on ACC at Texas State. We already have one at UT and HG. We also would like to establish a chapter at Concordia. So, I mean, that's pretty much our work so far, and providing a pipeline of Black talent to recruiters and other people looking to increase diversity at their businesses and things like that. So I'll let Natalie talk more.
So a couple of things I kind of mentioned a little bit about how unique the collegiate chapter structure is for just chambers across the country, period. But one of the things that we're really excited about is the fact that we've raised $30,000 for scholarships for students as part of the Student Health program. And we were able to do that through generous donations from various attendees at our awards program, but also a $25,000 contribution from the gentleman that I mentioned was our keynote speaker, Mr. Robert Smith. And so we are forming right now what the criteria will be. The students have been very involved in doing that, working with his director of Project Realize, which is part of his management consulting organization. And so the partnership will include an internship program that students will do both at the chamber as well as at Vista Equity Partners through the Project Realize division. So this is exciting. And we're really happy about it because the students have really taken this on. It's important to the community because the African American population is the only one on the decline. And we all saw the recent statistics that came out from the University of Texas's research division this week or this past week, and we've been getting inundated with calls from the media. This is really an initiative to help deal with that issue. How do we get our young people connected to this city in such a way that they think of it as home and want to stay here? One of the things that I'm also extremely proud of is that not just the work that we've been doing with the chamber, but how we connect the students to that. So the work that we do in Brazil, while it seems far away and seems like there's no real connection to Austin, though there is, both from an economic perspective, we also were very successful in connecting with Brazilians in Austin. One particularly was my translator while I was in Brazil, who is now a PhD student at the University of Texas at Austin. She came to speak for our students after we talked about the fact that international travel is so instrumental and so necessary for any young person in this day and age. And they were so inspired by that we have 2 of our collegiate chapter founding members who are going to Brazil this summer. We have one that's going to Edinburgh, Scotland. We have another one that's going to South Africa. And South Africa, Brazil, and Kenya, these are our markets. And they're going because they were introduced to this through the chamber. So again, I say, and also some of our collegiate members have gone on to get internships with some of our chamber members. So this is about creating the pipeline. That's what this is about. And this is really important. And they are our future. And so we really hope that you all support them. Next, we have the Black Technology Council, and we have another board member, Mike McLennan, who is the president of Keep It Digital, and he is, as I mentioned, on the board of directors.
Thank you, Natalie. Again, my name is Mike McLennan. I probably shouldn't be the person up here right now. Dee is one of the co-chairs, or is the co-chair of the Black Technology Committee, and has been doing an outstanding job in that role. I'm owner of a company and have been very, very busy here recently, and she and Charmaine also, who's back, I think back in the back, wave your hand, and Charmaine. And this is Dee. Dee, stand up, just let everybody say hello to you. Several other members, obviously, that have been working with us as well, but they've done an outstanding job helping this committee move forward, so I just wanted to acknowledge them. So I believe we have a slide here that has some of the Black technology. Do we have the slide? Yeah. So I'm not going to read the mission, but I'm just going to kind of say it in my words, so what I think the Black Technology Council is about. So we work with, there are small businesses, there are large businesses, there are individuals that really, we are aware of technology, but not necessarily, don't necessarily know how to incorporate it into our daily lives or into our businesses. So the Black Technology Council is about increasing that exposure to the technology, not only to the technology, but to the people that are associated with that technology. So a key part of this committee is really about that networking with people and other businesses that are associated with with the technologies that we're dealing with. You'll see some of the things that are listed here as the accomplishments, and what you're going to see are several companies, right? You see Facebook, you see Google, a lot of activities with South by Southwest. There's a lot of activities that are going on in those various areas that are bringing people that otherwise wouldn't have been exposed. And if I were to, just a quick show of hands, how many people participated in one or more, maybe say more than one South by activities? That's a pretty good number, actually. I'm surprised to see that number, but that, if in certain forums, if we ask that question, there's not a lot of hands that'll go up, right? So we're trying to help, tie people to some of those technology areas and bring them closer to that technology, so that again can help them with their businesses or with whatever it is that they may be involved with. So that's why, again, I won't read through all of these, but you'll see a variety of South by activities. We do want to note, one, the Diversity Tech Evangelist of the Year, so a national award from Google, so an outstanding accomplishment there as part of the committee. And I want to note, again, just showing how all of the technologies tie together. One of the things listed here is the Shark Tank private casting event. When we talk about technology, people joke a little bit about Facebook and kind of all of the unnecessary things that you see and happening on Facebook. But the reality is this Shark Tank event wouldn't have happened without the activities that take place through the chamber on Facebook. So somebody saw some communications through Facebook from the chamber, and ultimately through networking, that resulted in hosting a Shark Tank casting call, which ultimately led to a member, being on Shark Tank, right? So it just shows how things can tie together from a technology perspective and sort of make some things happen. So that's really, again, largely what I think of when I think of the Black Technology Committee. It's bringing things and people and those technologies together to help them out as individuals and as businesses. So I think that's really what I'll touch on, and I'm sure Natalie can touch on a few more things as she steps up. All right, thank you.
Y'all put me to work today. A couple of things I'll say about the BTC. We had folks that came from Silicon Valley. They came for South by Southwest, and one of the things that they said to us, because Austin is always looking at Silicon Valley. How can we be more like Silicon Valley? What can we do to position ourselves in that way? And when they came to Austin and saw how we organize ourselves as a diversity community around technology, what they went home and said was, how do we get a Black Technology Council in Silicon Valley? Wow. Again, this is about Austin leading the way in some of the innovation that's happening, but only if we respect the fact that we're doing so. We're the first Black chamber in the country that Facebook joined, and we're really proud of that. Pretty much every major tech company in this city has become a part of our chamber through the Black Technology Council. We recognize that it's the fastest growing industry. We want to be at the table. We want to be at the table for this and for biotech, and that's why we attended the BioCon conference in Chicago. And I'll be honest, when I went to that conference, somebody asked me, why was the Black Chamber of Commerce there? And my response was, why wouldn't we be there? Why shouldn't we be there? But that's about every industry. That's about every growth. That's about every table that is important in this city. We should be at the table. Okay, I just met somebody who has 2 emergency rooms in Austin, 2 emergency hospitals. And I'm like, I need to put you in the chamber, put you on a panel so people can see that there's a Black man that owns 2 emergency centers in Austin. Not only do other people need to see it, but we need to see it. Because we need to know that people are here. And so the chamber is really about creating that kind of community. The other thing that I'll say is we actually did something that Google looked at as one of the most innovative projects that they had done with the diversity organization all year. And it was when we hosted a Google Hangout between Austin, Uganda, South Africa, and Kenya, talking about technology. And they had not had anybody do that before. And when they put it on the airwaves, we had folks who were in Africa working for Google saying, how do we get connected to the Black Chamber of Commerce in what other city other than Austin, Texas? All right. We're using technology to continue to keep evangelizing this city and the businesses and the talent that exists in it. And people are taking notice. And the real goal here is to help us to connect minority businesses that are more historical, because this isn't just about an age thing. Using technology is not about millennials versus baby boomers. This is about, we need folks to be online, we need businesses to be scalable, and we need to connect them to technologies that make it possible for them to do that. And what we're looking for is people who either have the expertise or the interest. And that's actually what garnered us the Technology Evangelist of the Year Award by Google. And I have to say that that was an award for every single national partnership that they had. Every national partnership that they had. We were against the National Urban League. Okay? As the Black Chamber in Austin. So we all should be extremely proud of the achievements that we have made possible for this city. So with that being said, now that I'm done preaching, a little fire burst now. We have the Entrepreneurship and Business Development Committee, which is chaired by Brian Marshall and Gary Linder, who is also a board member with the Chamber, and he is the president and CEO of People Fund.
Thank you very much. I'm actually going to introduce Brian. But before I do, I'm the president and CEO of People Fund. We're fiercely committed to social and economic justice and serve underserved markets. So the last 10 years, I've been involved in over 1,000 Black-owned businesses with great success. But as you can look, I'm not the youngest guy in the world, so where's Jade? Is he still here, Jade?
Oh, she may have stepped out.
She may have stepped out, okay. Jade's one of the collegiate members, and she's the entrepreneur officer. And I know Natalie talked about all these folks get to go to South Africa, Edinburgh, or whatever. But Jade gets to stay here with us in Austin, Texas, as an entrepreneur. She actually is an entrepreneur. She has her own business. But she represents the future of the community, but also the future of entrepreneurship and small business. So with that, I'm going to let Brian, who is the guy that does all the legwork behind the scenes, and let him cover the most important thing. Thanks, Brian.
All right, I'm last, so I'll just keep it brief. So Brian Marshall, and I co-chair, of course, with Gary on the Entrepreneur Small Business Development Committee. Many of you know me from my past world, from the Dell side of the technology things there. I had a 15-year career with supplier diversity, minority business development, and I've shifted now to another passion of mine. I'm part of the New York Life African American Marketing Unit. So this is a focus on economic empowerment. So it ties into what I do here with the Chamber. So really, you kind of get the goals here of what this committee is about. Of course, the development of our entrepreneurs, education, best practices, but I want to put a framework for all of you, really why I took this on. And Natalie's already talked about it. It's really three components for me. It is about the entrepreneurship and business development, but it's also about economic empowerment. We've touched on that. We've heard from our city representatives that talked about that. And we've also talked about marketplace diversity. So that's really the framework that really my passion is around this. And when you look at entrepreneurship, that's the BTC and our bringing up the new entrepreneurs in the city of Austin. Small business, that's procurement. That's our tie-in with the city of Austin. Met with Cap Metro. Also tying in with HEB, your private industries like Dell. So that's that piece. And then we talk about economic empowerment. This is about the economic empowerment of our small businesses and representation here in Austin. So part of what we do is you got to give them the opportunities, right? You got to give them the opportunities with the city through the procurement vehicles. Seton is doing a lot with its own expansion. It's the opportunities there that raise economic empowerment. And then marketplace diversity, more minority businesses in the community. So that's the framework when you look at the work that the committee does. So if you are interested, if you're a business owner, just starting out, come join. If you are a current small business, looking for opportunities, and hey, I'm ex-procurement, so I can help you through the tea leaves of how do you get that opportunity with the city? We've got an individual here that I'm hand-holding through to make sure he gets that certification with the city of Austin. And also with our Southwest Minority Supplier Development Councils, those are your corporations. And then, of course, marketplace diversity. So that's my spill on this, and then Natalie just lets me hang out there all the time. Along with Tim, who's my partner in crime, Joanna, everyone here. So that's really all I really want you guys to take away from this. But we are expanding out. Just talked with an individual about Blacks in film. That's a tie-in through the city. That'll run through the chamber. We also have another initiative I'm proud of with my committee, which is a minority economic empowerment kind of initiative. That's, hey, I'm New York Life, but you know what? Liberty Mutual, Mass Mutual, Urban League, NAACP, that is something we can get ourselves under and around and work together on and help promote. So look for more for that as well. So that's it. That's my spiel. I think I'm done. And then we can wrap this up with Natalie. Thank you.
So Brian jokes and said we let him hang out at the office, and
Not be all the time.
well, you know, one of the things that we really want to do with the chamber is make it open, right? So we have a boardroom available, and we want small business owners to feel like they can use it. And it's about, if you need a location to have a meeting, you can have it at the chamber, right? I had a small business, and I remember I used to do it out of my house. And when it came time to have a meeting, I was like, oh God, what coffee shop can I meet? Let's do coffee. Sometimes you don't want to do coffee. Sometimes it's not coffee time. If you have a meeting and you'd like to hold it at our office, please just be in contact with us and let us know. The other thing that we're really excited about, and again, we look at what's going on around the country with best practices. And one of the things that we kept seeing, and I kept seeing when I traveled, was office hours, this concept of office hours. Being able to connect with experts in the field and ask any and every question you had about what it takes to be successful in your business, ask them technical issues. And so we're really excited about the fact that we're launching a new initiative on June 6th. I'm not sure if you all received an email blast about it already. I'm sure you have. It's called Office Hours. First Friday's Office Hours. So the first Friday of every month, we will have from 10 to 12 experts from throughout the city of Austin, meeting at the chamber for 2 hours with you. You don't need an appointment, just stop by. And if you have a question about your business, feel free to ask them. It will be topic related, so we'll have lawyers, we'll have tech specialists, we'll have folks in accounting that you can come and you can ask questions to. This is exactly what this is about. So we're excited about that. And the last thing I'll say with this committee, similar to the education committee, is that one of the things that we kept getting asked was, well, what's the situation with Black businesses in Austin? So where do we stand? And we said, okay, we need to put together a forum to talk about just the state of Black business in Central Texas, like real fundamental. And we did that last year. And we had more than 150 people show up for that. We did it in partnership with Google. And one of the most surprising things that came out of that was based off the statistics that Hope Hay, who is also one of our board members, put together, that from 2002 to 2007, African American businesses actually increased by 35%. So while we talk about, today I just had a conversation with the statesman, we were talking about the fact that the population is declining, and does that really translate across the business community? And I couldn't verify that. The reason why is because the population decline isn't just something that's been happening over the course of the last 7 years, right? So we can only do the statistic based on the last time that this research came out. This is something that's been going on for maybe the last 10, 15 years, right? But if our numbers have increased from 2002 to 2007, last time we could get data, then I don't know that I can say that just because our population is on the decline that our entrepreneurial appetite isn't. The other thing that came out of that research was, which was really pivotal, was that when we looked at cities, Austin had the highest grossing Black businesses in the entire state of Texas. In Houston, it was 64 some odd thousand. Same thing when you looked at Dallas. Now, again, we're talking about cities that have exponentially more Black people. I mean, this is where we claim everybody's running to. Austin had $131,000 in average gross receipts for his Black business. Double. So my thought process was, well, then if that's the case, then if you stay in Austin, then you must have some type of scalable business. Because this isn't just like you can't survive. And we also realize that businesses are not just surviving off of doing business with other African Americans. This is a smart enough, open the market up situation, as my favorite Jay-Z would say, without Solange around. So, yes, I guess. So it's really important for us to open our possibilities, open our markets, open our connections, and also to respect, again, where Austin is. Because if we don't know where we are, how can we evangelize this city? We're always going to be talking about how bad it is, how this, how that, when sometimes the data doesn't necessarily support that. So we have to be educated about that. And we are all responsible. Every single person, these are my closing remarks. Every single person in this room is responsible for bringing someone to an event to show them a burgeoning Black community. Because I hear it all the time. There are no Black people in Austin. There are no Black people in Austin. There are no Black people in Austin. Yes, there are Black people in Austin. There's a room full of Black people in Austin. There are people all over the country who come through Austin. But we have to show up. We have to leave the house in Pflugerville and come down to 100 Congress Avenue and show up to events. And as anybody who knows me knows, I always say show up and show out. And that's what this is really about. That's what the Chamber's work is really about. It's about positioning us to be a force to be reckoned with, regardless of how many people are actually here. So with that, I'll close. But I do just want to say that we have some giveaways. So now here's the fun part. Yeah, I heard somebody go, woo. A couple of giveaways. Did everybody give their business cards? Oh, okay. Javon, are you making your way to the front for something? Oh, now everybody wants to put their business cards. Before you thought it was shit, you get on the mailing list. Oh, you didn't want to get on the mailing list. Oh, I do want to say one thing, because I see her little beautiful self walking around in the background. Come up here, Michaela. Yeah, go back one, two. Michaela, yes, ma'am. You want to come up here? Oh, Deandra? Oh, do you all want to come up? Oh, she's like,
Mama, come up too.
yes, please, come on. So this is one of our success stories here. Yes, ma'am. Look at how beautiful she was. I love it. So I'm gonna let you sell you, because you do it best. Okay? But last year at our awards program, Michaela was our Teenpreneur of the Year. Again, this is about building the pipeline. It's about finding talent and finding talent early and connecting talent, getting talent roped in so that they can't escape from the positive community that exists around them. And Michaela and her family have been selling her Be Sweet lemonade, which I'm sure some of you all have had the opportunity to taste. Yes. At different local establishments in East Austin. At that event, they met with Steve Wanta, who's one of our board members, who works for Whole Foods. Tell them where you're being sold now.
I'm being sold in all the Whole Foods in Austin.
Wow.
As well as
Also a Whole Foods in Sugarland, Sugarland, Houston, Quickie Picky, all Max's Wine Dive, Max's Wine Dive, all Eastside Pies, and Button Hills Food Mart.
Tell them how old you are.
9.
I want you to come up. This is her mom. Taylor, do you want to tell them a little bit about your business and what you do?
Okay.
Stand over here.
Yes. We
Stand over here.
want to get some good, beautiful shots of you in that yellow.
Okay. My name is Michaela Ulmer. I'm the owner of Be Sweet Lemonade. Be Sweet Lemonade is lemonade sweetened with honey. It has mint and flaxseed, and I donate some of the profits I make to organizations that help the bees. I'm a 9-year-old 4th grader at Trinity Episcopal School, and I love and enjoy gardening, playing outside, reading, doing arts and crafts, and making Bee Sweet. And
What's your zodiac sign? Well, yes.
Don't let them throw you off.
Yeah, that's right.
Don't let them throw you off.
Yes.
well, I donate some of the profits. I donate some of the proceeds that I make to organizations that help the bees because they're dying, and the bees pollinate a third of all the food we eat. So, according to Albert Einstein, if the bees left the surface of the earth, humans would have no more than 4 years left to live. So we really need the bees.
I just want to say that Michaela is inspiring children all over the United States. We've actually received calls asking her to speak throughout the U.S., and she'll be featured in at least 4 national magazines in the fall. And just people really are inspired, and they really want her to share her story. And she does workshops on how to save the honeybee, as well as the importance of having a passion. So she calls herself a social entrepreneur, and that's why she donates 20% from the profit from the sale of her lemonade to organizations that help save the bees. Thank you, the chamber. I mean, it doesn't seem like it was over a year ago, but we were sitting in that seat, and I tell you, her and Steve Wanta, they were going back and forth. And the next thing you know, probably about several months later, we got an email from Whole Foods saying, hey, does your daughter sell lemonade? And so that's how it all got started, and we really appreciate the connections from the chamber, and not just Whole Foods, but also HEB and other organizations as well. It's really growing, and thank you so much for your support, your tweets, your shares, and everything else. We really appreciate it.
Every time I see Michaela, it just touches my heart. I mean, we have a baby mogul in Austin. I mean, she's just getting started. This is just the beginning. So if you have not tasted her Bee Sweet lemonade, please do get yourself a bottle. Again, this is another example of a shining and rising star in our city, and we should all know who she is. So with that being said, our giveaways. So the first one is with the Black Technology Council. Has everybody put their cards in? Anybody that was going to do it has now got it done. The Black Technology Council, we have a 30-second commercial that's going to be brought to you by Multimedia Maze. So if you are starting a business or have a business and would like to create a commercial for your small business, Multimedia Maze will create that for you free of charge. And I will dip my hand in here and see who the lucky winner of that is. Aaron Watley. Are you here, Aaron? Awesome. So I'll give it to Demonder. We can just put his name on it. Okay, the next is our Education Committee. One of our chamber members, Tots and Tutors, is a tutoring service for young people. You get $20 per hour for Austin residents. So let's see what we can do here. Roger Davis. No, I think I might have to put this one back here. Because Roger is one of our board members. So. But Roger's son, Caleb, is actually at Howard, and he has been representing Austin very well. His daughter recently just graduated from ACC. Emerson Drakes. Do you have a need for this, Emerson?
No, really, I can donate it.
There you go. With the Government Affairs Committee, we recognize that networking is fundamental, and so we have complimentary appetizers at Eddie V's, and we'd like to see who we're going to give that to. Oh, y'all want that? Sonia Kacheka. Hey, Sonia. There we go. With the Special Events Committee, we have performance at the Long Center. Now, I must tell you that Maxwell will be there sometime in August, just in case you didn't know. I know about that, so if you want to give me one of the tickets, feel free. Let's see who we have for that. Oh. Molly? Yeah, you guys just racked up. Molly Latham with Casa. Thank you. All right. Next, from the collegiate chapter, we have 2 large specialty pizzas and t-shirts from Eastside Pies. Okay, you know college students are always hungry. Keisha Gash. Yay! Come on down. And then the Entrepreneurship and Business Development Committee. We have one of our chamber members, which is Center 61, which is a co-working space, is going to provide complimentary 4 hours and use of their conference room facility. Jelani Consulting, yes. So we have Kazik Prince. Awesome. We'll definitely give you that. With international affairs, we realize that being on the road all the time really sometimes can cause you to need a great stiff drink. And as such, Glaciers has provided a bottle of one premium beverage to help take the edge off that, I think, that on the road tired fatigue. Carrie O'Connor. Awesome.
I can't take it, but I donate it to somebody.
Awesome.
And then we'll have a meeting.
Okay.
That's a great thing.
Oh, yes, it is. So why don't I do that?
That is actually the shameless reason why I put my card in there.
So I'd actually like to take this time to introduce Carrie O'Connor, who is the new Chief Innovation Officer for the City of Austin. And she attended the joint session that we had with Innovate by Social Good, if Ruben is in here, that we had in connection with the Black Technology Council. Really hit it off. We had a great meeting with her the other day. She's a great supporter of the chamber, and she's phenomenal at what she's doing. If you ever have a chance to talk to her, you'll realize that she's just really smart. She will run laps around you, so be prepared. Put your running shoes on, but she's awesome, and she's also coming from DC. And then lastly, I think we have
You need to pick somebody else for that beverage.
Oh, do we need to pick someone else for that?
No,
Oh, yeah.
taxpayer dollars already like.
Oh, we have 2 bottles. No, we only have 1 bottle. We only have 1 bottle. Okay, yeah. I'm sorry, board members are not eligible.
Still working on something.
Amir, would you be able to take this?
No, I won't be able to take it.
All these government representatives, they can't accept them. Angelo. Angelo, awesome. Okay. All right. And lastly, we have Engineering for Kids, which is a new nonprofit organization started by 2 local Austinites here to teach engineering to kids during the summer. You get 10% off the summer camp. Roger, take him out of there. Oh, wonderful. Look who it is, Michaela Beasley. Awesome. I really thank you all for being here. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Please stay, feel free to stay and mix and mingle. And this has been a great experience for all of us. Thank you all for showing up. Oh, and if you'd like